to Tia, Trucks and Bolden. And she, oh my gosh, we have so much history. So much history. She's been, I'm going to let you tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And how we're connected.
Wow. So I met Sherelle's husband, 1995. So he's been literally doing my hair since 95. But I met him probably in the fall of 90.
Wow.
And it's amazing because I'm loyal. That's one of the things I am. I'm loyal to a fault, right?
Yes, you are.
So he's literally, I met him through a girlfriend of mine, Valeria, from Del State. Knew Mike, and I was like, oh, he looks, you know how you look at somebody like, oh, he ain't somebody I'm gonna be real cool with. And Lord knows, here we are
today.
How many years later?
2023.
How many years later? But he's been doing my hair since 95. Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Wow,
I remember. Yeah, and consistently. Like,
yes.
I don't leave and come back. I don't leave and come back. And I remember when Bliss Elements, it was Bliss Elements, and I met you, and you were sitting in the chair next to him. And I think, me and Mike just talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think,
was it Synergy or was it Bliss?
Was it Bliss? No, Synergy. On 40.
Yep, Synergy. Yep.
And you were sitting, you were next to him. And I remember sitting there like, Mike, something's up. He was like, no, she's just another stylist. I'm like, no. Because I've been knowing this man that long. And we talk. Sherelle, that's what I'm saying. He knows more about me than probably anybody outside of Michelle. Anybody. And he was sitting there and I'm like, something's up. And he's like, nah. And finally I got it out of him. And we just talked about this was it last week? 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Your first formal date was my wedding.
Oh my gosh!
We literally just talked about this.
Oh my gosh!
So
that's right.
That was the first formal date.
That was the first formal date.
Because I have the pictures. He brought you to
that. Crazy.
You came to my wedding, and I'm like, and that's when I knew at that moment. I'm like, okay, this is serious. Because he brought her to my wedding. I was like, that's serious and going strong. Since then.
Oh my God.
So you're not my hairstylist.
No,
and you're not married to my hairstylist. We're family.
We are family.
You're connected. You're connected.
Yes,
that's what it is.
yes.
But that's how long back.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, relationships are everything. And we know that some people come for seasons and some come for lifetimes. And, we just have to accept what God gives us with that. But some relationships are just so special and they stand the test of time. And it's amazing. So I thank you. I thank you for your dedication to us and your loyalty and everything. So thank you. Thanks for being here on a Pretty Moody. Oh, you're a busy woman.
No,
it's all right.
That's the mom sister's text.
But
I'm honored to be here.
I'm honored that you're here with me.
Good stuff.
I mean, you've always supported us in everything that we do, and this has been no different. This whole menopause journey. I want to know. We want to jump right into that. Where are you in your menopause journey? Let me ask you that first.
I wish I knew, because I don't even know. I don't even know what you call it, but I know it's been almost a year, and I've been trying to figure out. All I can say is the hot flashes have ceased a little bit.
That's good.
But then every time I say it, they come back. They come back strong. But I have no idea where I am. And my doctor, my gynecologist, and I usually do everything black if I can. But Dr. Janice Tilden Burton has been my gynecologist forever. And she was just like, Tia, we're just going to have to figure things out. Because I don't think my mom had it. She says, I remember her saying, you got your own personal summer and that. But she did, because she'll sit there and watch me, and she was like, okay, no, I didn't have it like that.
All of that. Yeah.
She was like, I didn't have all that.
And it's crazy because a lot of times we're told, we're going to mimic our moms or, your grandmother or your auntie or something. But a lot of times we don't even know what that looks like. They don't even know what it looks like.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, for us, it's like, well, we just trying to figure this out, while we're going through it. It's interesting you said, I don't even know where I'm at. And I thank you for that honesty, because I know that so many women out there can resonate with that answer and just not knowing, like, whoa, what the hell is this? Where am I at with this? What am I going through? What am I going to be dealing with next? Did you get any tests or anything done?
No, I will say this. When it happened, I was like, okay, I feel, because it started off like I knew something's going on with the hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh wow. And then when I started to do the memory thing, when I would come down the steps and forget what the heck,
baby,
I came down the steps for, and I'm
baby,
sitting there like,
that brain fog is real.
And then I'll stand there, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, and I'll retrace my steps. So I'll literally look at my phone. What was the last thing I'm looking at? Trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And it's like a puzzle.
Yes.
But
yes.
I was like, okay, something's going on. And then I talked to Dr. Brown, and she was like, I'm telling you now, that's the menopause happening. And I'm just like, oh wow. So then when I started doing, and when I talked to you, because I knew you started going through it, and then I watch everything that you post, and every time you post something, I'm like, that's it. Because you know how you try to diagnose yourself and you're trying to figure out what is this?
Yeah.
What is going on? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me. And
yes.
I think for me, like, what's really bad, I can take the hot flashes, but anxiety.
Oh, that
is
I think it's one of the most, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's one of the most underrated menopause symptoms.
Sherelle, let me tell you something. For someone like me, and when I say like me, right, I've always been the person. I'm the strong one. I'm gonna go cry in the corner by myself, and I'm gonna come back out face clear, and I'm gonna go handle my business.
Know.
This anxiety thing. When I tell you, I've never, and so I'm getting ready to be 52. So it happened almost. I had a full-blown panic attack and had no idea what was happening. Like literally in my room, heart racing, sitting like doing the rock, and Trimmer's coming in. Trimmer's my husband, trying to come in and calm me down. I'm like, okay, what is this? So I got over that. But then what I noticed is the anxiety just keeps going, and the things that enter your mind, like I'm a control freak.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there. So now I'm like, okay, I got to fix this, because I'm anxious about everything. And there's things, Cheryl, I could do in my sleep.
And now we can't.
And I'm just sitting there
overthinking, like
you feel it.
No control. And I know your personality. I know how you are. We want to get into later about what you do for a living. And then people will understand, how that's all intertwined. But it's like, for us not to have control over our lives is substantial, because you don't know when this is going to happen. You don't know how you're going to handle it, and you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
No.
And that's like having no control whatsoever.
It's just riding with somebody cuts the brake line.
That's it.
And you're just like, okay. Wait.
Yeah,
I'm going to wait for something to stop me.
Yes.
But that anxiety is bad. And I actually started doing the devotion. You can find the anxiety. So every morning before I get out of bed, I look at the anxiety devotion, because I was like, I got to get a handle, because it was getting to the point where like it was gripping you, and then the depression sits in, and I'm like, if you know me, that is so not me. So then I knew that's when I knew this isn't just mental, like this is the different symptoms.
Yes,
of
exactly. Exceptional to the vasomotor symptoms, like the hot flashes and things like that. Did you go 12 months yet without your menstrual cycle?
No,
you didn't. So,
and every time I think I did,
then it comes. So you're technically not in menopause per se, but you're in perimenopause. And this is so interesting, because ladies, I want you to get this. A lot of times we're in perimenopause and we have no clue, like whatsoever. I bet you cannot tell me, like, pinpoint down when you enter into perimenopause. It's so hard because we're busy. You're a mother. You're a wife. You're a professional. You know, you have your career, and we have to keep moving and shaking in life. So when things happen to, especially the strong, you know, woman,
right?
We're like not even realizing that is happening because we're so busy.
We keep it moving.
That's it. We're just so busy. We got shit to do, and it just comes down to that. We got shit to do, and we don't have time for nothing to be hindering us and stopping us. But I'm gonna tell you what, this right here, this has been something like I've never ever experienced in my life, and every day I literally learn something new. Every single day. Just when I think like, okay, I got a handle on it, I got a little bit of control, it's like, no, sis, no, you don't. You don't have it. I got the control.
And it does. And it does. And it just, what's for me, it's just, that's not who I am. Like, I've never been an anxious person because I truly believe if you have fear, then that means your faith is shaking. And I know I have all the faith in the world. Right. So that bothers me too, because I'm I'm telling you, I'm on my knees at night. I'm on during the day in the car ride. Like, okay, so like God, I'm not questioning you, but something has a hold, and you're trying to figure this out. And it's just like, woo.
And that's it. It's like you're just really, it's crazy because I find myself sometimes being so distracted with trying to figure this out. That I lose sight of some of the things that I should be doing. Because I'm so like, oh, this is like, I feel like shit, like this is, why am I feeling like this? I'm not unhappy, I'm not sad, I'm like, but I feel crazy and I don't know what's going on. So I can get caught up in trying to get myself together so I can do all the million things that I know that I need to do. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh. And then in the end, I still don't have my shit together. I'll be like, well, what? That was a waste. Now I'm tired.
There you go. That to-do list is like, what?
Yes. And I heard what you were saying. Thanks for sharing that too about the anxiety and what you're doing to help with it. Because a lot of times, you know, people are telling like, well, I have this symptom, I have that symptom. But they don't have any solutions. And one of the things that we have to understand too is menopause is not one size fit all. You know, what might work for you, might not work for me, and vice versa. So we have to also be yielding, you know, to trying to figure out what it is that's going to help us have that better quality of life during this process. Because that's what it's all about.
Right. And we need to talk about it more. Black women, I will tell you this, Black women don't talk a lot about health
at all.
In general, and share. And I found that out before Tyler was born. I actually had 2 miscarriages. And probably nobody knew. I thought I was alone. Until it happened to a friend of mine at the same time. And we started talking. I'm like, wait, you had the same thing that I had? And I'm like, so I'm over here thinking I'm by myself.
Yes.
And then there's somebody else. We don't talk, and I don't know what that is, Sherelle, why we don't talk about it.
I don't know.
Is that the strength? Like you don't want, because that's a sign of weakness.
Because you're showing that you're vulnerable. But we need to be vulnerable. Like we need to communicate, to educate. And I just said that to my daughter. I was like, we have to, you know, communicate so that we can get the education that if we're silent and we're not talking about it, number one, we're not helping ourselves. And number two, nobody else is going to get help. And that's why I started this platform. And I get people like, oh, well, you haven't even been going through it long. Like, you're new. I'm like, I don't give a shit if I was going through it like one day. First of all, I'm here and I'm here to stay, and I'm going to make some noise. So I don't care if someone's been dealing with this for, 10, 15 years, or someone's been dealing with it for 2 days. I want to be able to have a platform to make a difference and offer some education, some support in a community where you can feel safe, to come in and be like, we need to talk about this. I was talking to my therapist, Dr. Ja, and I was telling her, this was like in the beginning when I started, and I was like, I just don't understand why we didn't talk about, like, why nobody talked about this, nobody in my family. And I just was like, my grandma, my mom, like, no. Now I can talk to my mom about it, and she'll be like, oh, it was horrible, you know. But I'm like, we gotta unpack that,
why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, like, we gotta unpack that, right? So she needs to come on here too. I've been trying to get her on here. But Dr. Jai had made an interesting point. She said, back in the day, women wasn't allowed to talk. They wasn't allowed to say anything, yet alone how they felt, right? So when she was unpacking that and breaking it down, she was like, first of all, you think you go back to slavery. Mm-hmm. If they complained about anything,
they're done.
So that got passed down generation to generation to here we are, right? Where our moms are the product of the silence. Right. They're not talking. They wasn't talking at all. Now we're like, oh no, the heck with that.
But that is a good point though, because you don't. That's probably where it. Because my mom, and my mom is one of those people. I know she loves me. Like it ain't no ifs, but she's not the affectionate, overly affectionate.
Yes.
But I know, like, there's no doubt
in my mind. You don't need no proof. You don't need none of that. Right.
But I'm the total.
They're different.
I'm the total opposite.
I am too, Tia.
Because I'm a hug Tyler every day.
Kiss,
I'm a kiss
all of that.
all
yes,
on,
I'm
and I know
face,
he hates
all
it.
Of that. Yep.
Exactly. And he'll be like, Mom. But I know he knows too. But I'm gonna make sure. Not only do you know, anyone that around us,
they're gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Period.
What I feel for
exactly.
You. And that's it. It's breaking the cycle.
It is breaking that cycle.
That we have to continue.
It definitely. My girls, I'm talking to them like I know they probably. I'm like, yo, you see my TikTok? You need to go look at that TikTok. You see my you need to go. But I'm talking to them because I'm trying to break that cycle, and they've been dealing with some things with their bodies as well. So I'm like, listen, like we gotta talk about this. I want y'all to be educated. I want you to be able to sit down and have those conversations with your doctor when you're sitting there and not feeling like you gotta be rushed or you can't.
Something's not right.
Yes. So I'm trying to teach them all of the things that I didn't get, because that's what we do. Like you said, we didn't get the affection. My mom was the same way. My grandma was the same way. They were not affectionate at all. My oldest is about to be 30, and I'm still like
you hugging on it,
you know. She's like, but
it's
I mean,
different. You broke the cycle.
Yes,
you're breaking it,
and that's what we're gonna keep doing and having these conversations. One of the things I wanted to talk about. You're married, as am I, and menopause affects our marriages. And that's another thing that people are not talking about. I had this one lady, she came into the salon to purchase some neck fans. I think she might have bought like 8 neck fans for her friends, her sisters, whatever. And she pulls me to the side and she says, "Can I talk to you for a second?" I didn't know, never seen her, nothing. And we're standing there talking and she says, "You said something and it just really changed things for me." She said, "My marriage was almost over." And I was like, what? Like, I'm saying to myself, like, what? Like, the things that we are putting out definitely impact people's lives. And the fact that a stranger came and said something like that to me, I just was like, wow, this is serious. Like, she's saying, "I almost lost my marriage." I said, "How long have you been married?" She said, 32 years. I was like, what the hell? You can't throw that all away for menopause. Right. She gonna be gone. Like, in a few years, like, ow. I mean, if it's just menopause, you can't do that. But it's crazy. So tell me how it affects your marriage.
The interesting thing is, I don't think people realize you grow, right? You grow as human beings, right? And we don't talk about that either, right? because the Tia that Truman married in 2004 is not the Tia that's sitting on this couch.
And I'm so glad, because we're not supposed to
No.
be.
And he's not the same
Right.
either. I know I'm not the same because I know I actually like this Tia that's sitting on there. And if I had to go back and talk to my younger self, I'd have some different conversations.
Exactly.
But part of it too is communication is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say communication is 80% listening and 20% talking. You got to hear, because I've said to him, like, look, this thing is real, because our biggest battle is over the thermostat right now. That's the battle. That's the battle in the house. Because he was like, why is it? Because there's times I get cold, so I got to turn the heat up. But for the last 2 months, and if y'all, Delaware, if you're listening to Delaware, we've gone from, it could be 30 degrees outside. My window is wide open.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Like, waiting for the wind
I know.
to come in. Like, and that's because it's just a strange. So I don't think I can guarantee you, his mom's old school. I know she didn't have these conversations with him and say, yo, menopause is real. Tyler knows, because he was like, what is it? Let me tell you, I need you to look it up, and this is what it is, buddy, but your mom is going through it.
Oh my gosh, I commend you for that.
Because he was like, what is it?
I commend you for that, though. Because we got to teach. He's going to be somebody's husband.
Yes, he is.
So
in 20 years, people. 20 years. 20 years.
But he's going to know because his mom
Mm-hmm.
told him and had a conversation.
But you're different. You're different.
You definitely are.
I don't know if the control is the biggest thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's times when I know I've changed because I just don't have the energy anymore. Mm-hmm. And I know he probably saw, what was it, the month of November? We have a couch in our sitting room, and that was my space for a good month. And it took a lot for me to get up off that couch, because you just get in this funk, and you're just like, and I'm like, and I know he's probably looking at me, this ain't the same.
Yeah.
This ain't her.
Yes.
And we have these conversations, and I don't think he appreciates the change, because I don't know. Like, I can't expect him to know if I don't know either.
But see, that's it right there. And if we can just get the men more involved, right, with learning, talking, being open and understanding. If they can understand and really get the fact, we don't know. I don't know how I'm going to be. I'm sorry.
It's like a toss. Like you flip that coin.
That's it. I have no idea. I don't know how I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to go to bed tonight. Okay, so shit. Don't even talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about right now. Actually, it can just like that. And like you said, that whole energy thing is insane. I remember, like, I cut back my hours at work. And I mean, I worked all the time with no problem. Just long hours, long days, whatever, knocking the heads out. And it just got to a point, and I was telling Michael, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. And he was just, like, I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. It's not that I'm saying, like, I don't want to do this no more.
Right.
That's not
physically
it.
Can't.
I'm saying I can't stand up behind that chair like I used to and still come home and cook dinner and try to be your wife and try to be the mom and try to be Sherelle. Like, I just can't. And I found myself, like, in that space also where it's like, I just want to lay there. I just want to get in bed. I just want to lay there. I just want to get in bed. And trying to even push myself is like, oh my God. In my mind, I'll be like, I'm going to do, I got all this stuff going on in my head. Like, oh, I'm going to knock out this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then when I'm like, I can't.
Around November,
I just can't.
Like November to mid-December. I don't know. I can't. Everything was so much. And the only thing that pushed me through is because I knew the holidays was coming. I knew Tyler's birthday was coming. And so for the first year, I usually do 1 tree. I did 3. I was just trying to do, I was like, maybe if it looks, you know how they say, if you dress good, you feel good. So I'm like, if I see it around, maybe but it was, that was new too. I didn't know who she was. I was like, I don't know this.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where now I've become that woman. I don't want to talk to you on the phone no more. Just text me. I'll text back because people call
when
and
I do. When I do, too. I'm gonna text back when I do.
But I become her. I've become her that I don't even like. I talk so much at work that it's just like I don't even want to talk when I come home.
When I come home, I am so disconnected. Like I just don't want to be bothered with anything or anybody.
And that's it. And I check on, like, I got a routine. So I got to make sure Tyler's good. Prayer time is midnight. And then when he goes off to sleep, I'm still up. Because I don't even sleep well. Because I'm still up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Because that's the time that I have to try to figure out, all right, what's the next thing going to be? And that anxiety gets a hold. Like I'm telling you, that anxiety gets a hold of you. And that's the sleep time.
Yeah. I will find my mind like racing about like stupid stuff. Like, why are you sitting here thinking about this? Like, what is wrong with you, lady? Like, stop it.
And
but you can't even like turn it on sometimes. It's crazy.
And I think of the worst case scenario for everything. I can figure out like, oh, is this gonna happen? Because I'm like, I gotta have a plan. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Like,
and you'll be sitting there like,
this too much. You be like, this too much.
Like, T, you've gone overboard. And I'll sit there and talk to myself, and I'm like, yeah, T, you really taking that to a whole day. But then that's when I come back and be like, this ain't me. So I know something's happening to me. But at least I recognize it.
And that is, I was about to say, that's the key, that you recognize it. Like, hey, because a lot of us don't. Sometimes we just do not. And
I recognize it.
Yes.
And I'll be the first one to tell you when they ask, oh, what is that? Oh, that's my fan. I'm going through menopause, because there's no shame in the game. Yeah. It's a part of life.
Yes. And that's it's like, it's so much, there's so much a negative, like, stigma that surrounds menopause too. And that stunts the conversation.
It sure does.
And I was talking to, a lady a couple weeks ago, and I was sharing, we was bouncing some ideals off, and I was saying, hey, this is something that I want to do. And I'm always talking about like menopause awareness in the workplace. You know, I'm always talking about that, right? So when I said it to her, she's like, well, what did you have in mind? So I told her what I had in mind, and she's like, I don't think that, I wouldn't want nobody to know at work, like, because I don't want people looking at me crazy, or, you know. And I'm like, but if we don't do anything,
you need to know.
If we don't do anything, if we don't implement anything, then it's always going to be that space.
You're absolutely
right. That untouched gray. I don't want to, you know, we're trying to get rid of that. So tell us what you do for a living.
So I am in-house counsel for probably the largest bank in the U.S. I don't think we're global yet, number 1 global, but we're probably number 2 global.
Okay.
So I support a private bank in-house counsel. So I spend a lot of time negotiating, a lot of time influencing and convincing, and it takes a toll on you, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm dealing with bankers that are dealing with the wealthiest people in the world. So if you're anybody, you have an account at my bank, and I'm the lawyer that's supporting that. And I will be.
Did y'all get that?
I did, and probably some people will be like, oh, that's too much. I told my boss, I'm like, yo, I'm telling you right now, I'm going through menopause, so I need you to know that.
I applaud you for that.
I said I need him to know that, because if something's off about me, or when I need you to know there's a reason, like
why?
Something's not. And I know, like, I will say this, the longer that I've been there, because I've been there 23 years, only supposed to be 5. Like 23, life happens, and I've been there 23 years, and I'm on the downside of it. But what I've learned is the filter has pretty much come off. So I had to tell him, like, look, if somebody said, Tia said this, right? I'm gonna own it, and then we're gonna talk about it. But my patience is this much. Now I don't know if that's all menopause or if that's COVID too, because we went through this period of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the my patience. But I did have that conversation with them, and if anybody asks me at work, like we were talking, I have no problem saying, because it is a part of life.
It is. How do you handle yourself, like, at work? Like, I mean, the visible things that people see, of course, everybody knows hot flashes, right? Everybody knows the hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other things that, you know, you can't see that we're going through. When we talk about the depression, the anxiety, my patience is short, y'all better get the hell away from my desk right now, because today is not the day, okay?
It's interesting because there's a couple things. One, there's pictures of Tyler up on my desk. There's a picture of my circle up on my desk. And those reminders of why I do what I do, right? I always have something of my grandmother. So these two are my grandmothers, because that keeps me a little centered, right? So this anxiety that I was talking about, I actually did a Black History Month panelist, and I was one of the panelists on Monday. Sherelle, I do this stuff all day, every day, but I kid you not, there was so much nervous energy in me. And everyone said, Tia, what? Like that what you just did, whatever. And I said, what you didn't see is I think I had her pearls on that day. And I said, and if you saw me rubbing her pearls, that was me.
Yes.
Just calming myself down.
Yes.
So I have to find. So these are things that I do.
Yes.
So I wear different things. The Zoom camera, I would, like, if I need to fix my face, because I've never had a poker face, so I have to turn it off, right, to get myself together, because I might be sitting there looking at you in the camera like, yo, what are you doing? And I have a stand-up desk, because sometimes I have to stand up and just whatever. But I was at work a couple of weeks ago, and that hot flash came on, and I had a dress on, pantyhose or whatever. I literally took my shoes off at my desk, pulled those pantyhose off, threw them suckers in the trash, and I'm like, I can't, because it was just too much.
I know y'all can relate to that.
Yeah,
Don't trip. I know you really can relate to that.
I'm not lying. Like, I literally, because I know, and then I had to go walk across to a coworker and be like, because I had pantyhose on, I thought I had lotion in my bag. Can you give me some lotion? And make sure I'm lotioning the legs up. But it's no, like, again, that's the one thing I do like about this tea. There's no line. You can't avoid who this is. So I just have to find different tricks to deal with it, right? I love tea, but I realize sometimes tea at work brings on the hot flash. So I'm like, all right, so I got my water bottle, so I'm doing the tea, then I got the water.
Yeah.
So, but I have no problem, because they'll sit there and look at me, and I'm like, I'm going through a hot flash.
And that's it.
And it is, and you just gotta let me calm down. So if you see me pick my hair up, or you just go in here, and they noticed this summer, because a couple people, because I wore braids more than ever, and I'm like,
me too. That's been my go-to.
Yeah, I said there was no point of me sitting in it, getting my hair done on Friday, every Friday at 5 o'clock.
Every Friday.
And next thing you know, and it sweated out. So I was like, I'll just wear braids, because they were saying this. I was like, this is my menopause hair, people.
Yes.
And they were like, what?
Yeah.
And you know you catch people off guard.
Listen,
Yeah, this is my menopause hair.
That. You're so right. The braids have been like my savior.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, people think because I'm a hairstylist, like it's not going to happen to me. Like, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I had, since we on the topic of hair also, my edges started bending and coming out. And I was like tripping, like, this has never happened before. Like, what is going on? And I mean, we have amazing products. You know, we make our own products and everything. But I had started using, it was the Black Haitian castor oil, like on my edges, and it started bringing it back. But it like really jacked me up, because I was like, that's exactly what it is. And I was like, but when you're first of all, I'm a hairstylist, so I don't want my hair to be, and no woman wants her crown to be, you know, off-centered or messed up. We want we want it to be right. So I was like, this is crazy. Like, what am I going through? Like, is all my hair going to come out? What? And then I started shedding more, you know. Then I did my research, and I found that, yes, women go through hair thinning during menopause due to the decreased, you know, estrogen levels. It's like, it's just another thing that we have to deal with. Now, I want to go back to, taking that right there, back to this. When you say, I like who I am now, I will have to say, despite dealing with some of the craziness that comes with menopause, this woman that I am now, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, it is just like, I just feel, I mean, I'm about to be 50 next month, and it wasn't because like I'm turning 50. Yes, I'm looking forward to turning 50, but I just feel like this soundness with myself. I'm not doing nothing I don't want to do at all.
I ain't arguing with you over nothing.
Period. Whatever you say, whatever you need to make you, because I have zero time. Like zero. Like, I will walk away. I will go mute. I will silence. I don't have to do anything. And it is such
it's liberating.
Oh my gosh, it's so liberating. Such a breath of fresh air.
And that's what I said. I am a work in progress. If you say, who is Tia? I am a work in progress. Yes. I'm going to be a work in progress until the day I die, right? Because you're always trying to better yourself, right? But my priorities are different, right? And you got to focus on, like, Tyler is a priority. He's 17. I want to make sure, more than anything, he's a good human being, right? He knows right from wrong, and he's always going to do right from wrong when he's away from us, right? Those things. My parents are getting older, right? So I got to make sure I can be a caretaker for them.
That's right.
All those things come with something, and I'm like, you're gonna give up something to get something, right?
That's
and
right.
like I tell people at work, because you're always trying to be the best, right? And I remember having this conversation January 17th with my boss, and I said, let me explain this to you, right? We all work not because we like it all the time, but it's a means to an end. And it's good when you like what you do. That's right. And I said, but when it comes to compensation, right, I'm not asking to be rich, because rich is, by everyone's standard, is something different.
That's right. Absolutely.
But what I want to be is something that my past, like my mother wasn't, my grandmother wasn't. I want to pay, generational wealth.
Legacy.
I said, people don't understand that, and we have to talk about. I want to make sure when I die, we ain't doing GoFundMe. We not doing all these other things, right? We not doing it. I'm passing on.
Gonna be okay. That's right.
I'm passing on, or I'm making sure you invest. But I think sometimes, and my boss probably is like, dang, she's really like knowing what she wants. And he said this to me. He was like, I wish I was like you sometimes, because you will come in here and tell me exactly what I want. I will have a dollar figure. I will this is what I want to do. This is what I don't want to do. I said, because there's no time to waste.
It's no time. It is no time.
You can get money back. You can get property back.
Yeah.
But time, we cannot get time back.
And that's why I refuse to waste it on some bull crap, because you can't get it back.
No.
And this right here, this stage that we're embarking on, and maneuvering through and trying to find ourselves in, it's not all bad. And when we can look at, the great things, like, I love who I am. I love this woman. Like, I feel good. I wanna nurture her. I wanna treat her good. I wanna take care of her. I want to sustain her. Like, we have to pour the things that we are so freely pouring into
others, into
everybody,
ourselves,
and everything else. We gotta give that back to ourselves.
You
now.
absolutely
This is the time. The Asian culture looks at menopause as the second spring. They look at it like this is where you get that second part of your life to live.
You know what? And they're probably right, because it's different. It is different.
Yes.
And, you know, we talk about it, we do it. And it's just, like, again, you gotta give yourself some grace.
You definitely do.
And in my past, I didn't give myself enough grace. But now I am giving myself grace, and I will be the first one to tell. I am nowhere perfect, nowhere near it, near it. But at least I can admit it.
That's it.
And I don't pretend that I'm not, right? But what you will get from me every morning that God wakes me up is someone that is trying to be striving for excellence, whether that's in my own life or, you know, pouring into other people. And I strongly believe people show up, like you said, we're in this, you know, people come in your life for a season or for a reason. I think messages are being sent, right? Like, so you got to read the subliminal messages. And it's like, I know I'm surrounded, and I know, like, these little things, like the grandma's, like, this is her, like, and that's the peace that I find. Because I'm like, I think she would look at this woman and be like, I know she loved her granddaughter, but she would be like, yeah. And that's the one thing I wish. I wish she was alive for me to talk to her about menopause, because I would be curious to be like, Grandma, what was it like?
Yes, exactly. I wish the same thing. I had very special relationships with my grandma, and I mean, just the things that we know now. You know what I mean? Like the questions that we would ask now. It's like I wanna make sure that we're carrying those things forward. You know, so that our grandchildren are not sitting here saying, I wish that I was able to ask my grandma, or I wish I was able to. We want them to
ask the question. Ask the question.
Yes. So that's definitely.
It's no joke. No joke.
Right, and I love the fact too that you are like looking for things that you need to hold on to. You know, during your journey. You know, like you're like, listen, this is what's going to get me through, and that's so important. Because again, it's different for everybody.
It is. Tyler got me up off the couch. Tyler keeps me up. So you can't lay there when you're just like you have this human being. So that's the blessing. Maybe things happen for a reason, right? And you're just find the positivity in things. Now I don't like answering the phone still. So we can text all day long, but that circle, like when you talk about, like I have a group of friends that I can talk to about any and everything.
Yes. And it's so important.
They know too, like, okay, we're not gonna call, but they gonna text, you all right today?
Yeah.
How's it going? I'm gonna get a scripture from someone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that, I was just thinking about you, and that's what you need.
That is exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need. Like for sure.
You need it. You need
for
it.
sure. And I'm definitely blessed, like, to have women like that. And women like yourself, like I said in the beginning, you've always supported, you've always supported us. And I wanted to ask a question as to why you support Pretty Moody. Like, why because you so freely, like, no, I mean, it's who you are.
Right.
I know that, but
number one, because you're family, right? And we don't do enough. I've seen too many times when it's like crabs in a barrel. You're pulling each other down, right? It's supposed to be, as I climb, I'm reaching back. And when that's your fan and they're doing good things, you support.
That's right.
And it's funny because this isn't Pretty Moody, but it was raised. Because somebody said to me, when you guys were running this special, it's Christmas time. If you buy, was it the gift cards? You buy so many gift cards. Like, T, you could do that. And I'm like, I know that. But why do I need to do that when I know this is my family? So if I'm taking money from them, that means they can't do everything that they need to do.
That's big right there.
So I'm okay. I'm blessed because when you're blessed, you're a blessing to someone else.
That's right.
So there's no need, because I could have just said, okay, I know how many weeks I cut. It's 52 weeks. Here's what I need to do.
Right.
And I'm like, that's my family.
I love you.
And we need to think more of that. Like, it's not always, can I get a discount? Can I get a deal? Right? Because I think that's sometimes what we do.
Yes.
to our own. You're not going to the white person's establishment saying, so can I do this, that, and the other? Why? Support your family, support your black-owned businesses. And that's one of the things I've been trying to do more is find other black-owned businesses. So when you're going out like, hey, I'm a support a black-owned business this month. It's somebody new. Just because that's what you're supposed that's what we're supposed to do, right? Because if we're not supporting each other, who else is going to support us?
And we have to keep the circulation going in our.
For Pretty Moody, I have my patch on. My fan is in my bag, and they work, right? They absolutely work. But it is, and I told you, if I talk about it when I talk about menopause, I'm talking about the fan. I'm talking about the patches. When I was in New York. This past summer, I sitting with my fan on, and they were like, "What is that?" They thought it was speakers. I'm like, "No,
everybody thinks
this is
like
my hot girl fan." And next thing, where you get that from? Oh, here's the link, and I text you right away. I'm like, "Oh, you should be having this many orders." That's what you do because that's what it is. And I'm like, "Look, I'm telling you," because they were. And I remember this one lady saying, "Well, what's the difference between that fan and one fan I can go and get at Walmart?" Well, number one. My hairstylists have tested it to make sure your hair doesn't get caught up in these little things, right? And so that's why you want it, so it doesn't break your hair off. And she was like, and I said, but you go get your Walmart fan. I'm still gonna rock with my hot girl fan. But that's what it is. It works. The products work. Your family, and you went through this before I started, so I remember you talking to me about it. So when I started going through, I'm like, Sherelle, what is this? And when you started talking about it, so anything that we can find to help, and I remember you saying, I don't want to take, I didn't want to get on estrogen. I didn't want to do anything different. So anything all natural, that's what I'm about. Yeah. And I'm going to talk you up till forever when people are going through, like, you gotta go get these patches, you gotta go get this fan. This is what we doing.
This is what we doing.
This is what we doing.
And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I thank you so much for your support. Like, I love you. I appreciate you. And I really thank you for your support. I just want to just keep, again, just growing and giving. And I have the Pretty Moody Foundation now also, which I want, to use that to help disadvantaged women in menopause and also to educate our young girls.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I'm going to be like really breaking into.
So then you need to say how we can help, because that's the thing, right? You, like I said, I'm climbing, I'm reaching back. I'm climbing, I'm reaching back. That's what we have to do. Because I couldn't. Now that you say that, right? We have some resources that are available to us, but what about women that don't have the resources?
That is exactly why the Pretty Moody Foundation exists, because we want to support. I mean, look at what we're going through, and we have means to the resources, right? So for the women that don't have the means to the resources, what are they doing? I can't even imagine the women that are like incarcerated, women that are just like with disabilities, like, or just don't have the money.
Right.
Period. Because they're trying to buy these high ass groceries to, feed their kids or, whatever. So we have to come in and fill those voids. And that's what Pretty Moody is about. And a lot of people too are like, oh, but she's just trying to sell a product. I hear all types of stuff. Like, oh, she's just trying to sell a product and she's new and this and that. First of all, we've had our product line since 2003, so I'm not new to the product game or formulating or making products. I'm not new to entrepreneurship, but I am new to menopause. And what I saw was a void here, and I was like, no, I gotta fill that. Like, we need some stuff.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you? And I know. And what's interesting, Sherelle, is if it was somebody else.
That's right. It wouldn't even be.
If it was the majority, it wouldn't even be.
It wouldn't even be.
You're like, oh, they saw that. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, oh, there's a need here, and this need. If I know it's not being met for me, what about other people?
Yes. How can we help? How may I serve you? Like, that's what we do behind the chair every day. We are in the service industry, and that's what my life is. My purpose here is to be a blessing to other people. I got that from the Holy Spirit a long time ago, and I thank God that I know what my purpose is. So for me not to walk in the steps of my purpose would be crazy. So that's what I'm.
And you know, Shirley Chisholm says, "Service is the rent we pay for the time on earth." Right? And I don't think people truly understand what that means. Right? You can't. When you're blessed to have nice homes and you're blessed, that means you're blessed to have a big home because you're supposed to fill it.
That's right.
With some, with people, right?
Love
you have a car, so if there's someone walking on the street, I can't ride past Tyler's classmate that he knows, and we just gonna keep riding and be like, come get in the car.
Yeah.
Truman always says, well, why did all the holidays dinners have to be at our house? And not that I cook, but I do cook on 2 holidays. But I never want anyone to feel like they don't have a place to go. If you don't have a place to go eat, you can come here.
Get some food.
I have 7 nieces and nephews that have their own babies. So if they need to come to Aunt Tia's house on that day, it ain't no questions asked. I just need to know how many people coming so we can know how much food we have.
We got enough for everybody.
But that's the blessing. Like that house, unfortunately, is getting ready to be empty soon because Tyler's gonna go. But there's a reason why we have that.
Yes. But it's still going to be the house because we're empty nesters, right? It's still going to be the house that they're going to come back to because you've already laid that foundation there.
That is true.
So that's the house. Like just because Tyler's going away to school and everything, and it's still going to be the house.
I told him, I said his mom wants a beach house. I'm putting it out there.
I know that's right.
I'm trying to be at the beach because that's a happy place. That's a happy.
That is a happy place for me too. I love water. Like I just love being there.
I could sit out there all day
long.
Don't need a book.
Nothing.
I just give me a drink and I'm chilling and I'm like.
And especially being in menopause, it's like even just a bath. Like just being able to just relax in the bath. I just love, no comparison to the beach, but the water. Yes, give it to me.
That's a happy place.
Yes.
That's a happy place.
This was so good.
This was.
Oh my gosh, I love this. And we was good. We ain't even get like rowdy like we usually do.
But it's good conversation.
Definitely. Definitely. What is something that you would leave the woman with? That any women that are out there dealing with similar symptoms that you've talked about, such as like the anxiety and depression and things like that, what advice or just any words of wisdom that you can leave them with?
The first thing is own it, right? You know it's happening, right? I don't want to go on WebMD because they start playing with your mind,
Yes.
But you gotta own it, and that the Bible and devotion books and things, they have been the rock, right? Because I'm supposed to be the rock, but every rock needs a boulder, right? So I know before I get up in the morning, before I look at one email, before I read one text message, I go through that devotion, and it's usually a prayer. And sometimes it'll even ask you, do you want to write in a prayer? And I'll be sitting there typing on my phone and writing in my prayer. But that is what gets me through. And sometimes during the day, I will put on that Pandora gospel channel, and it's just that. So it's the spirituality, because I know I can't do this by myself.
No.
And I know that I'm getting that help, and God's never going to forsake me. And I don't profess to be, I'm not in church every Sunday. I'm usually watching on Zoom or whatever else. But that is one thing I do know. My grandmother, till the day she died, she was on her knees every night praying.
That's right.
And I know what my prayers are. So me and Tyler pray together. And then when Tyler goes off to bed, I'm praying again.
Yes.
And it's just figuring those things out. So just own it. Whatever spiritual, whoever you pray to, that's what you need to be grounded in, because it's gonna come to an end. But what you don't want to miss is all the stuff that comes in between, because you find out so much stuff in the in between.
That's exactly right. That is profound. I will have to say that the spirituality piece it's been everything for me. It has been everything. I mean, there's certain, like you said, you put on songs, it's the crazy thing about, and it's not great, but the crazy thing about it is I know exactly when I need to like turn it up a notch,
Mm-hmm.
or when I need to go a little harder, or when I need to like be still and just listen, to hear like what God is trying to tell me or show me. But it's certain songs that I have that keep me going. Like I'm like, I gotta listen to this song right here because goodness gracious, I need this.
Yeah, I got it all. I got it all dialed up, and then it's just like, look, it's gonna happen, but I have to have my things that I go to calm me down.
I love that.
To keep the, and then sometimes I'll just put in we have a square, we call it Square Biz, and I'll go into my Square Biz chat, like, yo, I'm having an anxious moment. I just need y'all to know, because I need to say it, because if I say it and verbalize it, it's there, and then I'll get, do this, I'll get a prayer from here, whatever, and that's what it is, and I haven't always been good about that. And telling you, so now I've been better. Like, this is what's going on. They know not to ask questions. They just know, okay, she's telling us,
and this is what she needs.
This is what we need, and it comes through.
And that's great. So what I got was, owning it, implementing whatever spirituality part you need to bring in there for yourself, and a support.
You need a support system.
You need a support system. For sure.
Absolutely.
We cannot do this alone, ladies. So once again, Miss Tia, Trucks and Bolden here on Pretty Moody. This was amazing. Thank you.
We've been talking for almost an hour.
We've been talking for almost an hour. It goes by so fast, and it's crazy because I have so much other stuff that we can talk about too. But we having crabs tonight, y'all. So we gonna change and get some crabs tonight. But I thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
Thanks for being on this journey.
Oh no! Where else would I be? Loyalty.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, Sherelle, that was fun.
That was amazing.